I think we are live. Alrighty. Oh man, oh man, oh man. This company doesn't get it. They just don't get it, man. Ah. But yo, what up, everybody? It is your boy Fitzmonk TV here, aka G Lauren 33. I am back here tonight with the Legit Shoot podcast, here with your Monday Night Raw review and results for December 16th, 2019. I want to thank you guys for joining me back here on the podcast here tonight. It's been a crazy weekend with everything going on, man. So first off, before we get into anything, I know I'm giving you guys some time to get into the stream. I know I'm waiting for you guys to get in here, so get on in here. But it's been a crazy weekend, man. I want to first off say thank you to everybody that came through to the TLC review stream last night. We had over 200 people, and it was entertaining. The chat was very active. I was answering questions. We also talked about TLC, and I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you guys haven't checked out my WWE TLC review, make sure to go check it out. We talked about everything from The Miz and Bray Wyatt. We talked about Daniel Bryan returning with the American Dragon persona. We also talked about the Roman Reigns Baron Corbin debacle. Alright, that was actually a decent TLC match until the ending with Dolph Ziggler and the Revival and all that crap that went on. Also, we talked about the disappointment with the main event. The Kubaki Warriors going up against Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch for the women's tag team titles. You know, there was a lot of reports about what happened with Kairi Sane. And I want to give credit where credit is due, man. I want to applaud Charlotte and Becky and everybody that came out. Because Kairi Sane, she's a warrior. Alright, first off, WWE should have... Yes, Junior, this is live. But WWE, if WWE was smart, if they were smart, they would have ended that match the second that they realized Kairi Sane was injured. But they didn't. They got selfish, and they decided, oh, we're not going to end the match. She looks okay. When clearly she wasn't. She was struggling through that match. There was also reports that Becky Lynch noticed. Charlotte didn't notice. But yeah, people want to call Charlotte Flair the best women's wrestler in the world. Get the hell out of here with that nonsense, right? Get out of here. People want to call Charlotte Flair the best female wrestler in the world. No, she's nowhere close to it. It's Sasha Banks, thank you very much. But Becky Lynch noticed that Kairi Sane was struggling while Charlotte Flair didn't. Did you guys see how bad that spot was when Charlotte tried to powerbomb Kairi Sane through the table? That's a huge debacle in itself. But you could tell that Kairi Sane was struggling. Becky noticed it. Charlotte didn't. And it was Charlotte's fault. Charlotte accidentally hit Kairi Sane with the monitor. How careless can you be? You're throwing monitors off a announcer's table, and you're not even looking at where you're throwing them. And then in the process, you allow Kairi Sane to get injured. Great job, WWE. Great job there. All right, but that's more Charlotte's fault than WWE. But still, WWE should have ended that match the second they saw Kairi Sane got injured. They really should have. But instead they didn't. They got selfish, and Kairi Sane got hurt. But, you know, Becky had to walk Kairi Sane through the rest of the match. I'm happy that Kairi Sane was able to finish it, even though the match should have ended the second they realized Kairi Sane was injured. Alright? They should have got to the finish and, you know, whatever. Right? And then you had taken away from Asuka getting the big victory over Becky Lynch, the top dog in the company, right? Asuka getting the big victory. Instead of putting the spotlight on her, what did they do? Right after the match ends, they go to Roman Reigns and Baron Corbin fighting on the outside. Why? Because they always have an agenda, and they have to make it about Roman Reigns. Wow, great job there, WWE. Way to make Asuka and the Kubaki Warriors, who just defeated two of the most over people in the company, way to make them look important. All right, and then you wonder why people like me and people all over the community are complaining about the way the women's division gets treated. Great job there, WWE. Great job. But I'm glad that Kairi Sane's okay. So, you know, she was getting a lot of support on social media, which is well deserved. The fact that she was able to finish that match in the states that she was in. If you don't know what a concussion is like, man, you legit don't know where you are. There's different stages too in concussion. I've had a couple concussions in my career, man. But what up, Ice Swallow? Great to see you back here. But concussions are no joke. Concussions are No joke. You don't want to mess around when you have one of those. All right? But I'm glad that Kairi Sane's all right. She was on Raw tonight, but she didn't wrestle, which would make sense. You know, she probably has to go through the concussion protocol to get cleared, and there's really no need to rush her. Because it seems like right now they're focusing on the Asuka and Becky Lynch story, which is what they should be doing. Because you've had Becky Lynch, and we'll talk about this a little bit later in the podcast, but you had Becky Lynch, right, focus on going after the women's tag team titles instead of making the WWE Raw Women's Championship. Alright? What do you mean? I swallow semen 0-0? Like, you act like that's not hard. Alright? But anyway, back to what I was saying. You had Becky Lynch. You had Becky Lynch sit up there, and she talked about how she feels like management's protecting her. No, it's because management always has an agenda. Alright? It's not because they're protecting her. They wanted to sell merchandise. They were considering the opportunity of having Becky Lynch be Becky Two Belts again. And all this other nonsense. And they took away from Becky making the Raw Women's Championship look important. I've said it for weeks now. The Raw Women's Championship, Becky Lynch's title reign has been meaningless. It's really done nothing. As great as Becky Lynch may be, she's really done nothing with that title ever since her matches with Sasha Banks. She's really done nothing. We talk about this at every single podcast. Lacey Evans, Natalya, because I have to remind you idiots. You know, she had a great segment with Shayna Baszler, alright? One good backstage promo. And other than that, what happened? Alright? No, Jessica, his name is I Swallow Semen 00. That's his name. Alright? LOL. Alright? See, this is exactly why I didn't want to say his name out loud. Because if you don't know what I'm talking about, you get the context wrong. But anyway, back to what I was saying. What was I saying? Oh yeah, back to Becky Lynch. You know, you're trying to make Becky Lynch look important, right? We know how great Becky Lynch is, but the Raw Women's Championship has been meaningless outside of anything she's done outside of Sasha Banks. It truly is. And then instead of making her defend the title at TLC, you instead have her go into a TLC match with Charlotte and the Kubaki Warriors. Alright? I know I say this every week. The Raw Women's Championship has not been defended in over 2 months. And no one seems to care. No one. If this was Sasha Banks, if this was anybody else that we didn't care about, that was champion, we would be sitting up here and complaining about it. But here, I remind you guys every single week, and nobody says anything about it. It's like they're fine with Becky Lynch not defending the title. Just because, oh, it's Becky Lynch and everybody loves her. No! It's one of the reasons why the women's division has been god-awful. Outside of what Sasha and Becky did earlier this year. The Raw Women's Championship has been nothing. Yes, you know, I miss Ronda Rousey because the Ronda Rousey defended the Raw Women's Championship every single month. And not only that, she defended the title the night after a pay-per-view. She would do an open challenge. Remember, she had matches with like Bayley and Ruby Riott and Natalya on like Monday Night Raw. She defended the title consistently. She was there every single week. There's nights when Becky Lynch is not even there. I'm not saying Becky Lynch has to be on television every single week, but there's nights where Becky legit is not even at the arena. But then people want to defend Becky. I love Becky. I really do. I don't love her as much as Sasha, but I love and I appreciate Becky. But I'm still, if Becky's not defending her title, if Becky's not living up to the man she calls herself to be, then I'm going to call her out on it. I don't care what anybody says. Alright? You're welcome, Jessica. We'll talk more after the pod about that. But I'm going to be honest. Alright? I'm not going to sit here. If Sasha Banks was doing that, right, I would call Sasha Banks out on it. Because I'm honest. I'm not going to sit up here and just like let stuff go. You guys know, anybody that knows me knows I am dead honest. I am brutally honest about almost everything. I don't mess around. I want to see the women's division succeed. I care about the women's division more than anything else on the main roster. Because the women's division honestly has so much talent, so much potential, but it's not utilized. It's not tapped into. Alright? Because there's so many people being let down. And I understand Sasha, and I'm not going to include Sasha in this because Sasha has not been booked to her full potential. Sasha Banks is the best female wrestler in the world. And see, most of her time on the main roster, she has not been booked to the level she should be. She hasn't been. Alright? If you're talking more about Charlotte, Charlotte's the problem. Alright, what up, Nigo? Welcome back to the stream, bro. But honestly, it's a problem, and nobody seems to mention it. Alright, I'm glad they're finally, after 3 months, Becky has legit not had an opponent for the Raw Women's Championship since October, the beginning of October, when she faced off against Sasha. And now we're getting back to the Raw Women's Championship. Alright, just about a week and a half away from a new year starting. Alright, even though I'm glad we're getting, they're telling this story with Becky and Asuka. How Becky needs to get redemption on Asuka. How Asuka's had her number 3 times now. Alright? And it's so ironic because this all started at TLC last year and it's come back full circle. And I like the story they're telling here. And part of me wants to think that Asuka should become the Raw Women's Champion. I honestly kind of think that right now. Alright, I love what Asuka is doing, and I kind of believe that Asuka should be the Raw Women's Champion. I'm not going to sit here and lie. With the momentum she has, I feel like it's her time. It's her time. WWE has never done justice to Asuka since he's been on the main roster. Alright, in NXT, she was the longest reigning Women's Champion, undefeated. She comes onto the main roster. What, she had, was it 1 or 2? I forget. I think it was 1 SmackDown Women's Championship reign. Yes, she had 1. And WWE failed her just so they could get another title reign on Charlotte, just so they could have that main event at WrestleMania, winner take all. It's ridiculous to me. It really is. Right? Charlotte may be the most overrated superstar of all time. Alright? What up, Tyrone? Good to see you here, bro. But let's be honest here. Let's be honest. I don't care how great Becky is. I love Becky, but I'm going to be honest about that. I just had to go on that little rant really quick. We'll talk about this a little bit more later on in the podcast, but that's just my mini rant to start Monday night. Actually, no, before we actually get into Monday Night Raw, I had a little bit of more of a rant. We talked a little bit about TLC. You guys see in the title of this podcast, a gauntlet match that meant nothing. Alright? Our theme into this show is, talking about Seth Rollins, his continued heel turn, and, how they're building up this faction between Seth and AOP. Alright? And how WWE, I understand that Seth Rollins is one of your top guys, but I have a problem with this. I have multiple issues with this. Alright? Anybody that's been watching me for a good amount of time, they know that one problem that I really have with WWE is that when it comes to some of these matches, right? Whenever they have a top guy that loses a world championship, right? They lose a world championship, they throw them into the mid-card. They give them a mid-card championship opportunity as a consolation. Alright, instead of putting them in singles feuds and then, taking them out of the title picture for a little bit to let other people get an opportunity, they decide, no, we just, you were just the world champion and we took the championship off you. Let's give you a mid-card championship opportunity. For what? It makes everybody else in your division and everybody else on your roster look terrible, look meaningless. Thank God the women don't have a mid-card championship. That would be absolutely awful if they did. Alright? Imagine. You already have 3 sets of women's titles. The tag team, the Raw women's, and the SmackDown women's. Imagine having a mid-card division. Or a mid-card championship for the women. Hopefully we never see that. But still, I could give you countless opportunities or countless names that they've done this to over the years. Alright, let's go. They've done it with John Cena. They did it with Randy Orton. They've done it with Seth Rollins. Alright? They did it with Seth Rollins a couple years ago, and they're doing it again with Seth Rollins now. Alright? They've done it with Roman Reigns. They've done it with Dean Ambrose. They've done it with Kevin Owens. Alright? It's a problem with WWE. It's a legit problem. For some reason, they get it in their heads They get it in their heads that they want to, when it comes to a, one of their top guys losing a world championship, they decide, oh, I'm sorry, here, we'll give you a mid-card as a consolation prize. It's ridiculous. You had a gauntlet match tonight. You had a gauntlet match, and a gauntlet match, we've seen some pretty damn good gauntlet matches in the last couple of years. Most notably, we've seen Seth Rollins. Back when Seth Rollins was a great babyface, back when WWE knew how to book Seth Rollins, back in 2018, all right? 2018, remember when Seth Rollins wrestled for how long? It was like over an hour when he went up against what? Was it Roman and John Cena? Remember how great that gauntlet match was? And how great everybody felt about Seth Rollins coming out of that? Like, it was absolutely amazing. And what about the Kofi Kingston? Just earlier this year, I think he had 2 gauntlet matches that he did great in. Both of them was to get an opportunity against Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. Alright, when they were doing that whole storyline, like, saying that when Vince McMahon was saying, oh, Kofi doesn't deserve a shot, blah, blah, this, blah, 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 that. Like, let's be honest here, bro. Let's be honest here. I love the gauntlet match. It can legit develop new stars. But here's the problem. You had a gauntlet match that went nearly an hour tonight. First, one problem was that you had superstars in there that had no business being in that gauntlet match. I'm specifically talking about names like R-Truth, Matt Hardy. Alright, I'm not going to say Akira Tozawa because I actually like Akira Tozawa. I didn't mind him being in there. But people like Matt Hardy and R-Truth, bona fide jobbers on Monday Night Raw, right? And you had them in this match? Why? I saw something on Twitter, and it was like somebody saying, it seems that, the more you lose in WWE, the more opportunities you get. And that is absolutely true. The sad thing is that is absolutely true. The more you lose in WWE, it seems the more opportunities you're actually awarded. Which makes me sick to my stomach because that makes 0 sense whatsoever. And it shows how incompetent WWE's creative staff actually is. Alright, it really does. Well, I've been saying for weeks that WWE, since Brock Lesnar is out right now, because Brock Lesnar only works the major shows. I said it last week. You have the potential to have a really good main event and mid-card division. You have the names. Akira Tozawa. You have... Of course people are calling me. Alright? You have names like Akira Tozawa. Aleister Black. Buddy Murphy. Aleister Black and Buddy Murphy probably put on match of the night at TLC last night. Maybe potential... I'm not saying match of the year candidate, but one of the best pay-per-view matches we've seen all year long. Alright? You have Ricochet. You have Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, AJ Styles, all these other names. You have Kevin Owens. You have all these names that you could put into your mid-card division. You have Rusev. But you're telling me people that deserve to be in a gauntlet match for the United States Championship, Matt Hardy, R-Truth, bona fide jobbers, people that haven't, who I don't even know if they've won a singles match on WWE TV all year? Are you serious? People that only get victories at house shows? They're in a gauntlet match for United States Championship opportunities. That's great, right? And not only that, you have the gauntlet match that goes over an hour. You don't even have a winner to it because you decide to have Andrade attack Humberto and, like, per storyline, nearly end his career. Alright? And you tell me you had a 1 hour gauntlet match so you could have Andrade and Humberto attack each other. Alright? You could have, there was no other way you could have had Andrade injure Humberto and send him out on a stretcher. You're telling me there's no other way you could have done this situation. Are you serious right now? How uncreative and how dumb can you be? This proves that WWE does week to week booking. It really does. Because a man with logic, I could sit here watching the show on my TV, on my 50-inch 4K HDR TV. I could sit here and book this show better than the people writing this show. It's that sad. All that, and then on top of that, it's bad enough that you did a 1 hour gauntlet match to not have a winner. All right. Just you force Harry to go to class. When you see Harry, just tell him to watch the pod afterwards when he has time. Getting grades is important, man. I wish that the podcast or the streams wouldn't be going on when he has class, but class is important. He can easily watch the stream, once he gets back from class. It's not a big deal. All right, but just a good job getting him to go to class. But anyway, back to what I was saying. I'm already angry about that part, but it was one thing to have Andrade attack Humberto to end the gauntlet match by disqualification, did not have a winner. But on top of that, you had Seth Rollins who attacked Rey Mysterio along with the AOP, and Seth Rollins challenges Rey Mysterio for the United States Championship next week. So Seth Rollins won. There's multiple problems with this. Seth Rollins won. He just lost the Universal Championship to Bray Wyatt just a little over a month ago. It's been what? How long has it been? Like 7-8 weeks at this point? Wait, a month and a half, 2 months since Bray Wyatt became the Universal Champion when he beat Seth Rollins, right? So, and then you decide to throw Seth Rollins into the United States Championship seat. All right, that's two problems right there. All right, two problems. A third problem: Seth wasn't even in the gauntlet match. He wasn't even in the gauntlet match. So you have people like Ricochet, Akira Tozawa, Andrade, Humberto. They go out there, put their lives on the line to give you a good match, fighting for just a chance to become the #1 contender for the United States Championship. All that, all right, we don't even get a winner. They go out there fighting, and all Seth has to do is just go into an interview with Charlie Caruso and then say, "Oh, I want a United States Championship opportunity." Are you freaking kidding me right now? Really? That's fair, right? That makes sense. It makes the gauntlet match look like an absolute waste of time. They were out there wrestling for nothing. A gauntlet match that took over a third of the show. All right? I believe in you, Jessica. I gotta agree, it is a little more special when it's live. Because, you can be more interactive with me. You got the chat and everything like that. But, it is what it is. I'm sorry. We're on different parts of the world with different time zones. But, either way, man, you can fill him in afterwards. All right? Or if he has anything he wants to say, just tell him to, text you. And then you can tell me here in the chat. All right? I appreciate you too. But, oh my gosh. It really does make me sick. It really does make me sick. Sick to my stomach. I don't understand what's with this company. I really don't. They make absolutely no sense. No sense whatsoever. It's disgusting. It really is. So, you did a gauntlet match legit for no reason. For no reason. And Seth Rollins just gets to go backstage and just ask for a United States Championship opportunity. An opportunity that he doesn't deserve. He really doesn't. But Rey Mysterio decides to accept it, and now next week we're going to be getting a U.S. title match between Seth and Rey Mysterio, which I'm guessing Seth will win. The only way I could see Seth not beating Mysterio next week is if Kevin Owens comes back and interferes. That's the only way I could see Seth not becoming United States Champion. And it's only a matter of time till we see AOP go after the Viking Raiders to become the Raw Tag Team Champions. Alright? But, man, oh man. Look how deep we are into this pod and I'm ranting, man. Like, it's bad. It really is bad. But either way, let's get on with the show. Let's try to get through this as quick as possible. Oh my gosh. I just spent a good 25 minutes ranting. I could easily just end the pod there. I'll start with what those two things. Nothing else really happened on the show, if we're being completely honest. Nothing else really happened. That's just me being honest with you guys, as always. But the show started off with Seth Rollins, and I like this. I actually like the opening to Raw. It made Seth Rollins coming out. We didn't see. There was rumors saying we were gonna get Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens at TLC. I'm glad they didn't do it because it didn't need to be on TLC. This is supposed to be, arguably it is your top storyline on Raw right now. Said you don't have Brock Lesnar there with the WWE Championship. So, you know, everybody's focused on this. Everybody's focused on this. So you have Seth and the AOP come out, and he talks about how he believes the fans turn on him. This was kind of a continuation of his promo from last week. And he said he didn't like how the fans were questioning his status as a leader despite his willingness to do what was necessary rather than popular. And it seems like the story they're telling with this Seth heel turn, Seth wants to be a heel leader. Alright, he believes that along with AOP, he's going to be a leader that's going to make Monday Night Raw great again. But he's not going to be one of those nice leaders. He's going to be a leader that is strict but is fair. Alright, and he says if people don't want to follow his lead, if people don't want to fall to what he's doing, he's going to have the AOP just take them out. Alright, that's basically what he was saying here. He said Kevin Owens resisted and paid for it a week ago when he suffered a beatdown. When, you know, Kevin Owens, and I'm telling you, man, Kevin Owens, that attack looked real. It looked like AOP actually slammed the door in Kevin Owens' face. All right, and then after Seth hit him with the curb stomp on the concrete, we didn't get a chance to really look at KO's face, but I would not be surprised if he actually suffered something so brutal. All right, Jessica, you're a Dragon Ball fan? Oh my gosh, you're lying to me. You're like, I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan. I don't know. I don't want to get too much off topic. All right, but this is basically a Dragon Ball channel. Outside of what I do with WWE, if you go on my channel, Jessica, you'll see tons and tons and tons of Dragon Ball videos. If you go to my playlist, you'll find out like a Dragon Ball playlist with like 200, 300 videos. All right, so like, I don't want to get on off topic, but I have tons of Dragon Ball videos. All right, Dragon Ball is my favorite. I'm a huge anime person. All right, but dang, that's something we have in common. All right, that's great. That's great. But I don't want to get too much off topic. If you want to talk about that afterwards, you know how to text me. But yeah, I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan. Huge Dragon Ball fan. But anyway, Seth talked about how he would lead. He sees himself as a visionary. And you know what this kind of reminded me of? You know, this was a good promo. It was reminding me of something Triple H would say as a heel. Triple H said, would always say stuff about the future and how he would do stuff for because he was a leader, and how leaders have to be hard and be strict and put their foot down for people to follow and listen to what they were saying. So I saw a lot of what Seth Rollins was saying. It was very similar to something I would hear Triple H say back in the day with Evolution or with the Authority, like earlier in the decade. But Rollins was calling himself a visionary and vowed to drag fans kicking and screaming into 2020. He said he would lead Raw not only into 2020 but the new decade and beyond that. He says anyone who resists will be dealt by AOP, and he also said that there was one more thing he had to deal with by the end of the night. And he said it's not going to be a popular act, and he said, I apologize in advance, alright? And we all know by the end of the night it was Rey Mysterio. The reason why he attacked Rey Mysterio is because he believed Mysterio put the events of last week into action when he decided to give the lead pipe to Kevin Owens. Alright? I'm not a big fairy tale person. I've seen fairy tale, but it's not a bad anime, but I'm not the biggest fairy tale person. Alright, anyway. This was a good promo to start the show. I wish the rest of the show went better. Because honestly, after this, the rest of the show was not good at all. The main event wasn't bad, and Becky's promo was great. But other than that, the show really fell off the map. Alright, we had a rematch, and I told you guys last week, or last night on the TLC review, that they were going to do this. I legit said this on last night's podcast. Last night they did this horrible gimmick KFC match with the Viking Raiders versus Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows for the Raw Tag Team titles. The match ended in countout and a brawl back because the two teams got into a brawl. And then it ended with the Viking Raiders putting Carl Anderson through a KFC table. And it just looked bad. But the thing about it is, this match, they did a rematch tonight, which I wasn't surprised of. Because I told you guys on last night's pod they were going to do this. But this match was actually good. This was a good match. This was probably better than their match from TLC. I just really didn't care about it that much. I want to care about it because, like I always say, the Raw Tag Team division needs so much work, and it has potential, but it needs work. And WWE doesn't put enough focus on tag team wrestling in modern day WWE. The focus, the parts of the main roster that need the most work going into 2020 are the tag teams and the women's division, and that is clear. All right. Yes, Jessica. Yes, I do. Not on a consistent basis. You know, I don't really focus on it, but you know, it is what it is. But anyway, the OC won with the Magic Killer. They hit the Magic Killer on Ivar, and this definitely this basically concludes that we will be getting a rematch for the Raw Tag Team titles at some point. It could be next week, but we will be getting a rematch for the Raw Tag Team titles between the OC and Gallows and Anderson. No, the OC and the Viking Raiders. I'm not saying I don't care about this feud, but like really, like I'm just like, the match was okay, you know, but like, I don't really see the OC winning against the Viking Raiders. I feel like the Raiders are gonna hold those tag team championships up until WWE's ready to give them the AOP, which could be any day now, you know. But we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see with that situation. Man, oh man, I just got a weird text message. Next up, we had Eric Rowan in action. I don't know where they're going with this. For weeks now, they've been talking about, you know, Eric Rowan having this mysterious cage. All right, yeah, and we have no idea what's in it. I don't think anything is in it. I really don't. All right, what could be in it that Eric Rowan's so addictive with? All right, they have Eric Rowan going off with a local competitor every single week. The local competitor tries some way to see what's in the cage, or he tries to use the cage to distract Eric Rowan to get a quick victory. All right, but really this was a squash match. The unnamed competitor, I don't even think they gave him a name. All right, we're just gonna call him unnamed competitor or a local competition. You know, the competitor was trying to look in the cage, but Rowan didn't let him. He delivered 2 straight claw choke slams for the win, and that's what happened. All right, what up, Lil Fettuccine? Good to see you. You know, we're going over the show right now. If you want, afterwards, you can go back to the beginning of the pod. Where you missed my epic rant. But yeah, we're going through the show right now. So you want to, you know, if you didn't watch Raw, don't worry, I got you. I'll take the pain of watching Raw for you guys. Don't worry, I got you. But this Eric Rowan thing, I have no idea where it's going. I don't care for it. It's terrible. It's garbage. Speaking of garbage, man, this was downright awful. Oh my goodness. Lana and Bobby Trashley. You know, last night they had the tables match, and Lashley put Rusev through the table. You know, I'm surprised we didn't see Rusev tonight. You know, I don't know if this is the end of their feud. I hope it is. But I'm willing to bet it's probably not. Just because Vince McMahon is a freaking idiot. And he's going to find some way to keep the feud going. Alright, but we had, this was so bad. So Bobby Lashley and Lana, they make their way to the ring for a post-TLC celebration. And I want you guys to remember one thing. If you remember, I think it was last week when he had that garbage divorce. When he had that garbage divorce storyline. You guys remember, Bobby Lashley's on the record saying, he said, once this is all over, once this divorce and all this stuff is over with, I'm gonna marry Lana. Alright? Cringe at first sight. But, we see Lana and Bobby Lashley in the ring. Lana is bragging about her hot boyfriend and how he beat Rusev in the tables match. And she said she wanted the world to know how much he loves her. So he's like demanding Bobby to tell the world how much he loves her. All right. Then the weirdest thing happens. Out of nowhere, Lana takes out a wedding ring. The second we all saw, everyone knew, oh my gosh, this is where they're going with. It was like seeing reruns of Edge and Vicky Guerrero. All right, that's what this felt like to me. So she takes out the wedding ring, and this is I don't know if I've ever seen this. She asks Lashley. So Lana, who has a engagement ring, a proposal ring in her hand, she asks Bobby Lashley. To marry her. All right. So she asks Bobby Lashley to ask her to marry her. So she's telling Bobby, I want you to ask me to marry me. I've never heard about that in my life. All right? In my life. Jessica, I think Vince is the best WWE writer ever, but like most good writers, they lose their touch. Yes, Jessica. No, he's more than lost his touch. It's more like Alzheimer's at this point. All right? There was a day when Vince was a great writer. That was maybe about 2 decades ago in the Attitude Era. He lost his touch long ago. It's more than lost his touch. It's pure Alzheimer's. It's pure dementia at this point. That's how bad it's become with Vince and his writing staff. Alright? I don't know how you could sit up here and tell me that this crap was nice. It wasn't. So Lana asks Lashley to ask her to marry her. I'm still not over that. And Bobby takes the mic and he says, usually, I don't like anybody telling me what to do. And then he pauses and he's like, except for you. Cringe. So he takes the ring, he gets on a knee, and he proposes. Alright? He proposes. And then Lana starts screaming like, oh Bobby, oh Bobby, oh Bobby, oh Bobby, oh Bobby, oh Bobby, oh Bobby. I will allow you to marry me. I will allow you to marry me? Are you kidding me? What do you mean I will allow you to marry me? What sense does that make? That's pure stupidity. It really is. It's garbage. It's legit garbage. Anybody that defends this product, they have no idea what in the world they're saying. They need to be drug tested. They really do. And then they made Bobby look like such a bitch. They really did. The guy looks like a bitch. How are you gonna allow a female, alright? How are you gonna allow, not a female, but allow somebody else to tell you, to ask you to marry them? Why do you need their permission to ask them to marry them? Alright? And yes, I agree with that too, Jessica. What happened to her Russian accent? Like they still has not explained that to us. Like, I don't understand the nauseating garbage that's with this company. It's legit nauseating. Legit making Bobby look like a bitch, saying that he needs permission to propose to her? What happened that if you love a person so much that you just go and do it? I don't know, man. But I already know we're going to get a marriage between these two soon. I'm willing to bet last Raw of the new year. We have, and I know this, Monday Night Raw is being pre-taped. They're actually, they're probably still taping the show right now. They're pre-taping Raw for next week because they're planning to give the Monday Night Raw Superstars Christmas off. So the SmackDown Superstars, they're still gonna have their shows live every single week, but Christmas isn't gonna affect SmackDown tapings because SmackDown will take place after Christmas. But the Raw Superstars, legit, Monday Night Raw takes place the day before Christmas Eve. So they're pre-taping they're pre-taping Monday Night Raw probably as we speak. So we'll probably have spoilers, or probably maybe either tomorrow or Wednesday. I'll probably have a video. I'll have to make a reminder, but I'll probably have a video talking about the Raw spoilers. Alright? So at least I'll give WWE credit. They did one thing good. They gave their Raw Superstars Christmas off. But still, that means the spoilers will be out. We'll know what happens on Raw 2 weeks from now. I mean, not 2 weeks, but next week's Raw. We'll know what happens on next week's Raw probably by tomorrow morning. So I'll probably do a video, alright, on that. But still, it's pure garbage. It's legit garbage with Lana and Rusev. And Lana and Bobby Trashley. They're probably gonna do a wedding the day before New Year's Eve. They'll probably have Rusev crash it, just in a way to continue the storyline. It's pure garbage. Afterwards, Lana's like, I will allow you to marry me. They embrace, they start making out, and that's how the segment ends. Alright? This is garbage. This is terrible. Anybody that supports this, you need to be drug tested. For real. You need to be drug tested. Like, get on my site with that. After this, we had a #1 contenders gauntlet match. It started off with R-Truth versus Akira Tozawa. Before the match, R-Truth comes out. He does his normal "what's up" stick. I didn't really mind this at all. R-Truth actually cut a promo. R-Truth is pretty hilarious and pretty entertaining, when WWE gives him the time to do his stick. He comes out and he starts clamoring how he wants to be like John Cena, how he admired John Cena growing up. Even though I believe R-Truth was in WWE before John Cena was. If you check back the WWE tapes, I think if you go back to like 2001, Cena debuted on Raw in late 2002, 2003? And I think it was 2000, 2001. R-Truth was with WWE. He was doing completely different stuff. I think he was working with Mark Henry back then. I could be wrong. But R-Truth was with the company 20 years ago. Alright, he's been with the company now for, once 2020 hits, this will be his 3rd decade with the company, which is crazy to think about. So, I don't know, WWE didn't make sense really with R-Truth saying that. But he says how he wants to be the United States champion, and he wants to be I remember, the 24/7, 7-Eleven, 48/7. He didn't say the European, but he said, basically you guys know what I mean. He said the 24/7 champion. That's basically what he said. So then this goes into a match with Akira Tozawa. Anybody that's been watching me for the last couple weeks, you guys know I'm pretty high on Akira Tozawa. I like Tozawa a lot. Man, I think he's underutilized. But Tozawa hit Truth with a roll-up to get the victory. So R-Truth is eliminated. Great talk, right? You had R-Truth start the match talking about how he wants to be United States and 24/7 champion. And he gets pinned in the first matchup of the gauntlet match. Great job there, WWE. R-Truth and Matt Hardy should have not even been in this match. They really shouldn't. But still, it's whatever. Alright, so Ricochet comes out next. And I love this. I really love this. I'm telling you guys been sleeping on Akira Tozawa. The guy is great in the ring. Great. If you guys look at what Tozawa's been doing with people like Buddy Murphy, Aleister Black, tonight with Ricochet. He did it with Leo Rush a couple weeks ago on NXT for the Cruiserweight Championship. Tozawa is a beast, and he's underutilized. He really is. He can put on a good match with anybody. If you go back to 205 Live, back when he was still on the show, he was putting on great matches on that show every single week. He has unique offense. He's a high flyer, and I love Tozawa. And WWE doesn't utilize him good enough, man. But Tozawa caught Ricochet with a double knee on a shooting star press attempt and almost won the match. But then Ricochet recovered. He hit the recoil for the win, which is basically just another version of the code breaker. But he gets the win. He beats Tozawa. Alright. Like I said, I didn't mind Tozawa being in this match. I really didn't. It was more my problem with some of the names that came on after, like R-Truth and Matt Hardy. Alright, I love Matt Hardy, but the guy's been a legit jobber on WWE TV all year. Without Jeff Hardy, without the Hardy Boys being a tag team, the Hardy Boys don't mean anything. Jeff Hardy wasn't being utilized as a single star. Matt Hardy's a legit jobber on WWE TV. And still, you have names like Drew. Where was Drew McIntyre tonight? Right? Where was Drew McIntyre? He was just in the Fatal 4-Way for the United States Championship a couple weeks ago. But now he wasn't there tonight. I understand that you did have Randy Orton in there or AJ Styles in there because they had a singles match in the main event of Raw tonight. So they clearly weren't going to be in this match. But where was Drew McIntyre? Where was Buddy Murphy? You know? I understand Aleister Black was in there because Aleister Black's probably, you know, he had a broken nose. So you probably don't want him wrestling out there. But where's like McIntyre? Where's Murphy? Where's some of these other names that are supposed to make up your mid-card division? Like, come on. You're telling me Matt Hardy? Are you serious right now? Really? Are you serious right now? Junior, say your request. Alright? I'm going to keep going, but say your request. But anyway, what sense does that make? What sense does that make? That's pure garbage if you ask me. If we're being, it's garbage. It's garbage. So Matt Hardy comes out, and this was pretty good for what it was. I'm telling you, Matt Hardy can give you a good match here and there. The guy, he's old. He's older, but the guy's not a slouch in the ring. He can give you a good performance. All right. But Matt Hardy went for the twist of fate. Ricochet counters it, gets a pin. He wins. He moves on. Next up, Humberto Carrillo. So they're making Ricochet look like the Iron Man in this gauntlet. You know, they want to call him, you know, the making superheroes look real. And then we come back. These two go at it, man. I gotta give Ricochet credit. He pulled the Kofi Kingston. He was the Seth Rollins tonight in the gauntlet match. He was the Iron Man in this gauntlet. But remember, he had pretty good match with Tozawa, pretty good match with Matt Hardy. Actually, he had a really good match with Tozawa. He had a decent match with Hardy, so he was tired, but still, he was able to bring Carrillo to his limit. Carrillo gets the moonsault for the pinfall victory. Ricochet is eliminated. So Humberto is looking on the stage. During this match, during Humberto versus Ricochet, we saw Zelina Vega looking beautiful, of course. They had Zelina Vega on top of the stage, and she was looking on. She was just looking to see who was going to be the fool that had to go up against Andrade as in the final match of the gauntlet match. All right, and before the match even started, they had Andrade and Zelina Vega. They had a backstage segment, and they were talking. Can I give you a series request? WWE draft on WWE 2K20. I might do that. This is that I would have to get back on WWE 2K20. I still have the game. I do have the game. You know, it just depends. Do I really want to play 2K20? Like, it's a good series. If you guys get, you know, if you guys want me to do the series, if I get enough support for it, I will definitely do that because I want you guys to be involved in this channel as much as possible. But I need to know that you guys want me to do that series. All right. If I see people don't want me to do that series, if it's not, you know, doing well, I'm not gonna, you know, go through the effort of doing it. But if you guys wanted me to do it, hey, I have no problem doing it. You know, I love you guys. But anyway, getting back into it, you know, so we had this match. And before Zelina and Andrade, they did a backstage interview with Charlie Caruso. And if you guys have been following along over the last week, we had Humberto and Andrade on Raw last week, and we also had this match on TLC last night, Sunday night. And the story they were telling here is, you know, Humberto was causing difficulties between Andrade and Zelina, and it looked like WWE was teasing a breakup between these two. Teasing a breakup between these two teams. Alright, these two. And I said it last on the TLC review, I'm highly against that. Alright? Zelina could probably survive on her own. Andrade's great in the ring, but you know, the guy's not the best when it comes to English. He's not gonna survive. Look at how AOP does. Alright? AOP, everyone boos the hell out of them because no one can understand what they're saying. Andrade's no better. So why would you take Zelina, who fits perfectly with Andrade? Makes zero sense there. Zero sense. But you did this, and they decide. Andrade was pretty angry. He kept saying Humberto, and then he started speaking Spanish. All right, and Zelina say, all right, keeps mentioning how Andrade lost to Humberto twice this week. Just see what happens. All right. So Andrade's music starts playing, but Zelina's laughing, walking down the stage, and Andrade attacks Humberto from behind. All right. So Zelina was the decoy, and that allowed Humberto to be distracted and Andrade to punish Humberto. He hit double knees, and then he dragged Humberto to the arena floor. He then exposed the concrete floor, and then he delivered a hammerlock DDT onto the concrete. Rey Mysterio came out to send Andrade and Zelina away, and that was it, really. They had a stretcher come out, take Humberto away, and that was that. And it was legit garbage. It was legit garbage. Alright? I legit ranted on this at the beginning of the podcast. This was garbage. WWE could have done so much better here. So you tell me you had nearly a 1 hour gauntlet match? A 1 hour gauntlet match. Just so you could have Andrade and Humberto continue their feud? You tell me there was no other way to work around this? No other way? Really? Please. Come on, man. You could have done something way better. Way better. But after this, we the gauntlet match was great for what it was. It was a pretty good gauntlet match. It was just the fact at the ending and what they did with Seth Rollins was absolute garbage. It was garbage. So they had Seth Rollins comes out with AOP, which we already talked about. He attacks Rey Mysterio with the same lead pipe that Mysterio gave to Kevin Owens, and then Seth takes the mic, and then basically Seth Rollins, going back to what he said earlier in the night, how he wanted to be a merciful leader, a guy that only was trying to send messages and not hurt people too much and put them in hospital beds. Seth Rollins says that he would spare Mysterio this time, but that he owed him one. Alright? And then as he's leaving the ring, Seth hits Mysterio with a curb stomp. Alright? So after the break, we see Charlie Caruso asking Rollins about the attack, and Seth says, I want a U.S. Championship opportunity against Mysterio next week. Ha ha ha! Like I ranted earlier. Oh, Seth just lost the Universal title to Bray Wyatt. How are we going to reward him? It's been 1 or 2 months since he last had a title match. Let's just give him the United States Championship as a consolation prize. So like I said, next week, Mysterio did a backstage segment later on, and he said, yes, next week we'll do the match. Absolute garbage, if you ask me. Absolute garbage. So next week, Mysterio, Rollins, even though this is the first time ever, it's going to be a good match, but still, you really had to do a meaningless gauntlet match just to get Rollins an opportunity when he wasn't even in the match. Great job there, WWE. Great job there. Way to make your people important. You had Ricochet out there, going out there, sacrificing himself, putting his body on the line, but yet it meant nothing at the end of the day. It meant absolutely nothing. Hold on, I'm just loading up Becky Lynch's promo so it's ready, because we're going to talk about that in just a sec. Alright, but after this, we had Asuka versus Donna Perillo. She's from NXT. I kind of like this. You want to make the women's division look important? Feature NXT talent. I actually like this a lot. And it's not like Raw's women's division has anybody else. I would have got pissed off if it was Asuka versus Charlotte. And Kairi Sane, she came out with Asuka, but I think she went backstage afterwards. Because we know Kairi Sane, she's going through concussion protocol. But it was good to see Kairi Sane. It was good to see that she's okay. But we've seen Asuka versus Deonna Purrazzo. They're still they continue teasing this Liv Morgan transformation. What I would do, I would save Liv Morgan's re-debut for the Royal Rumble. Alright, the Women's Royal Rumble. Even though I don't think Liv Morgan's a favorite to win the Women's Royal Rumble, I would save it for the Women's Royal Rumble and have her be one of the final people. You want to make your women's division look important? There you go. There you start. I'm telling you, the final people in this year's Women's Royal Rumble should be Sasha, Shayna, because those two are your favorite. Potentially Ronda Rousey. I don't think she's going to come back, but I could be wrong. potentially Ronda Rousey if she's there. It's gonna most likely be Charlotte's gonna be in there. You're gonna probably have Alexa Bliss in there, so that's probably the final 5. You know, and I think you should have Liv Morgan out there. You know, as the final 6. Have her be one of the last people eliminated. All right, and let that set up a potential run, a potential push for her on Monday Night Raw. Yes, Jessica, you can send me that to my Instagram. But this wasn't a bad match. Deonna was pretty impressive. You know, it was cool. It was a fresh matchup. You know, the crowd didn't react to her too much because she's from NXT. They don't know her, but still, this was a good match. It was a good TV match. You know. She gave a good performance, and you know, with more work, one day she could be a contender on WWE's women's division. But we know the way WWE pushes women these days, so who knows? Who knows? But that's just my thoughts on that. But it was a good match. But they teased earlier that Becky Lynch had an interview that she would want to do, and yeah, so I have the interview loaded up. We're gonna talk about it real quick.
Becky, last night you had the opportunity to once again become Becky Two Belts. However, the Kabuki Warriors were able to defeat you and Charlotte and retain their tag team titles. So here we are, one day out. How are you handling that loss?
The last few months, I've been off. I haven't been myself. I was taken out of singles competition. I was put in the tag team division. And at first, I thought that the powers that be were trying to bury me. And then I realized that it's something much worse. They're trying to protect me. Now I look at the merchandise.
You guys know I've been ranting. I've been ranting about Becky Lynch. All right, I see Jessica, what you said about Ruby Riott. You know, I like Ruby Riott, but I think she, you know, I don't know. Do you put on Raw or do you put on SmackDown? If you put on Raw, you could, you know, reunify the Riot Squad, but I don't want to see that at all. You know, I want to see Liv, Sarah, and, you know, Ruby have their own separate identities. Ruby Riott was absolutely amazing in NXT. She came to the main roster. They put her in the Riot Squad. And all we got with the Riot Squad was them going up against Sasha, Bayley, and whoever. No matter if it was Ember Moon or Natalya or somebody else for most of 2018. And it was absolute garbage. I absolutely hated it. Hated it. I love Ruby Riott. I think she's great in the ring. You know, she could be a legit top contender on WWE television. But I don't want to see her with the Riot Squad. When she comes back from her injury, she needs to come back. She needs to come back and be a single star. Be on her own. I'm tired of all these factions. I'm tired of them. Legit. Because all factions do, all WWE does with factions is put them in 6-man tag team matches over and over and over. I agree with that. Jessica, do what the straight edge society was meant to be. Stuff like that. That's a real faction. That's a real faction. Instead of doing 6-man tag team matches all the time with these factions, man, make them actually dominant groups. Make me actually care about them instead of putting them in tag team matches that mean dog shit. That mean absolutely nothing on WWE television. But Becky's talking about here how, I ranted about this, how she was taken out of the singles division and put in tag team competition. She legit has not defended the Raw Women's Championship since her Match of the Year candidate with Sasha Banks at Hell in a Cell. It makes me sick to my stomach. It's been legit close to 3 months since she's had an actual opponent for that championship. But no one talks about it. And I love how honest Becky's big in this promo. Alright? Becky also talks about how she sees herself, because Becky is the top dog of WWE, right? When I look at all the stars, Becky is the top star of WWE right now. It should be Sasha Banks in my opinion, but WWE never pushed Sasha to the moon the way they've done with Becky over the last year and a half. You know, but Becky, she is the top star of WWE. She is. She sells the most merch. She's on the posters. She's everywhere. She's everywhere.
And the posters and the corporate events, and I realize that I'm the golden goose now, and they don't want that to end.
I like this, yes. You know, in a way, WWE's trying to protect her. They're not trying to bury her, because WWE finally realized what they have with Becky Lynch. Before last year around this time, Becky felt like WWE was trying to bury her. Management was trying to keep Becky from where she was trying to be. They got Stephanie McMahon involved. They had Triple H involved. And it was absolutely fantastic. I absolutely loved it. Alright? But now here we are a year later. Becky's on top. Becky's gotten everything she wants. She main evented WrestleMania. She was on the cover of WWE 2K20. She's on magazines. She's in doing events. She's at award shows. She's doing everything. Becky's the top dog of WWE. She is. There's nobody else that's bigger than her, other than maybe Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt right now. I'll put Sasha Banks there, but she's not booked to the level Becky Lynch is. All right. What up, Paddlepot? I hope you enjoyed your class. You know, Jessica told me how you had to go to class, man. You gotta get your studies in, man. I'm sorry that my streams are usually during your classes, but glad to see that you're back, bro. Glad to see that you're back and you're here to join us tonight. All right.
They're trying to protect me against Asuka because they don't think that I can win, and maybe after last night they're right. But I didn't come this far to be shielded and protected. This championship says that I'm the best, but this champion says that Asuka is the best in the world right now.
And I like that. I really do like what Becky said. I really do. Becky says that the Rollins champion is supposed to mean that she's the best on WWE's main roster. All right, on Monday Night Raw's women's division. All right, Bayley's supposed to be the best of SmackDown, so she's the SmackDown Women's Champion, and Becky's supposed to be the best because she's the Raw Women's Champion. All right, but Becky says that's not the case. Becky legit said that Asuka is better than her tonight. I just played it for you. Asuka is better than Becky Lynch at the moment. Asuka's had Becky's number over the last year. Becky's been able to beat everybody. She's beaten Charlotte. She's beaten Bayley. Well, I don't know if she's beaten Bayley, but she's beaten Charlotte. She's beaten Sasha, unfortunately. She's beaten Ronda Rousey. All right? She's beaten Lacey Evans, Natalya. She's beaten almost everybody. You know, she hasn't beaten Shayna, but I think they're saving that for WrestleMania. And she hasn't beaten Asuka. Asuka has legit been the only person over the last year and a half that's had Becky's number. All right? They had it last year at TLC. All right? I like that quote, CM Punk. I'm like that, but I'm not going to say that Becky's a dynasty. She's not a dynasty. She's only been the face of the company now for a little less than a year. You know, John Cena had been the face of the company for nearly a decade when CM Punk said that amazing line. So I'll disagree with you there. As great a quote that is, I don't think that applies fully to Becky. But back to what we said about Becky. Becky is great. Alright? But Asuka has been better than her. Asuka's a better in-ring performer. In my opinion. I love Becky, but Asuka's overall better. Oh, you know? Overall, Becky is not better than Asuka. Overall, Asuka is better. I'll say it again. Overall, right now, Becky is not better than Asuka. I'll say it one last time just so everybody can hear me. Overall, Asuka is better than Becky Lynch. Let's be honest. At TLC last year, what happened? Asuka beat Becky and Charlotte in a fantastic triple threat TLC match. Fantastic. Alright. Then what happened again? They had the rematch of the Royal Rumble. That's what it's a match of the year candidate. The only reason why it's not going to be higher on my list when we do the podcast, and I just wanted to make that little announcement, a quick little nugget. I'm going to be doing a special podcast sometime in the next couple weeks. I got to figure out a date and time, but I'm going to be doing a special podcast where I give you guys my 10 best WWE matches of the year. All right, and we can discuss. It's going to be a great pod. I think I did it last year, so I can't wait to do it this year. But we're going to sit here. And we got to remember, at Royal Rumble, we had Becky versus Asuka. That was the second time that Asuka beat Becky. Asuka beat Becky clean. And Asuka should have held that title for most of 2019. She should have held that title for most of this year. But instead, WWE wanted to get all in their, agenda. They wanted to give the SmackDown Women's title to Charlotte just so she can get to the triple threat. They wanted to further their agenda. And Charlotte lost that championship 2 weeks later at WrestleMania. Wow, great job. Way to make Asuka look important. Becky versus Asuka was great at the Royal Rumble. The only thing that got overshadowed was the fact that Sasha Banks and Ronda Rousey was better. That's the only thing. Alright. Paddle Pot. I don't know if Jessica, explains to you. What Sasha did to Paige was an accident, bro. Paige and Sasha have both on record saying this. Did you not watch Sasha's WWE Chronicle? Sasha said that was an accident. She didn't do it on purpose. It was a spot they did the night before. They did the same spot the night before. It was just Paige's body gave out. And I'm willing to bet Paige will eventually be back one day. If Daniel Bryan was able to return from the injuries that he had, Daniel Bryan wasn't cleared to wrestle for what, 2-3 years? Well, if Daniel Bryan was cleared to wrestle, eventually Paige will be allowed to come back. It's going to happen. Alright? I don't know. I'm going to tell Jessica she has to remind you of this, man. Come on, you're smarter than that, bro. But, and now you have TLC. Asuka defeated Becky to retain the Women's Tag Team Championships. So, on 3 separate occasions in the last year, Asuka has had Becky Lynch's number. And it's been great. It's been great to see. So, TLC 2018, Asuka defeated Becky and Charlotte becomes SmackDown Women's Champion. Royal Rumble, just a month later, Royal Rumble 2019, Asuka defeated Becky Lynch clean to retain the SmackDown Women's Championship. And then again, at the end of this year, all comes full circle, TLC 2019, Asuka defeats Becky again to retain the Women's Tag Team Championships. They're going to do this again now. They're setting the stage for them to have a rematch at the Royal Rumble. Can Becky Lynch finally defeat Asuka? Becky said it tonight. She said right now Asuka is better than her. Because Asuka has defeated her on 3 separate occasions. And now Becky needs to repay that debt.
Last night proved it. TLC last year proved it. The last Royal Rumble proved it. So, you might say that I'm handling this loss by looking at things honestly.
Well, based on what you just told me, what would you say to those people that say Asuka deserves to be the champion?
Well, I think I would say something to Asuka. Now, Asuka, I usually say that it's my opponents who need me, but this time, Asuka, I need you.
I like that. I like that. Becky comes out and says, I need you. Becky's been going on all year saying how she needs other people to help her make the Raw Women's Champion look important. How she needs other people to make the women's division the best she can be. And to be honest, Becky's failed with that. Becky has failed. Lacey Evans and Natalya, I will remind you guys as many times as I have to. She has failed doing that. But, other than her matches with Sasha Banks, she has not elevated the women's division in her championship reign. Would I think things would be different with Sasha's champion? Yeah, I would think things would be different. But that's just my opinion. Outside of what Becky did with Sasha Banks, she has not elevated the women's division this year, being Raw Women's Champion. Alright, hopefully what they're doing with Asuka will help, especially with 2020 being a fresh start. Hopefully 2020 will be the start of the women's division getting to where it needs to be. Helping the women's division finally get elevated to that level it was with Sasha and Becky, where it was prior to the main event of WrestleMania last year.
Because you are the one person who I have not been able to beat. And up until now, I'll admit, you've had my number. But I need that to change.
No, I see your message, Paddlepop. I see your message. Paddlepop, I'm going to start... I need to start calling you Harry.
Because I need to prove something to myself.
I like that. Becky says, I need to prove something to herself. And that's the way the promo ends. So, clearly, we're going to be getting Becky versus Asuka. Most likely at the Royal Rumble. That's the perfect place for this thing to happen. Take place in Houston. The same place where the Royal Rumble was last year. 1 year later, in the same place, can Becky rewrite the wrong? Can she get her revenge on Asuka? We'll have to wait and see. But I like this. I really do like this. Alright? A fresh story. Well, it's not a fresh story, but it's the continuation of a story that I actually enjoy. If Asuka wins, I'll be very, very surprised, but I won't complain. All right, Asuka should probably be the Raw Women's Champion right now. All right, she has the most momentum. She's doing absolutely fantastic. But that's just my opinion. But we'll have to wait and see where this goes. All right, we'll have to wait and see for the Royal Rumble. But I like this story. Why in Houston again? Most likely because they're having it in that outdoor stadium. Probably because it's the Royal Rumble. You know, the Royal Rumble's arguably the second or third most important pay-per-view of the year for WWE. So, you know, I don't know. Probably because it's in Houston and they want to have it in that outside stadium. I don't mind it. You know, it's the Royal Rumble. It's a big event. I don't mind that at all. To end the show, we had Randy Orton versus AJ Styles, all right? This has been 2 weeks in the making. This match was originally set to be on TLC. I'm glad that they didn't put on TLC because it made the show feel a little more important. Even though in between, this show really wasn't that good. Outside of the Becky Lynch promo, Asuka versus, I forget the person she faced, the NXT girl, and the Seth Rollins promo. For the most part, the show was a disappointment like it usually is. But it wasn't absolutely garbage, all right? But I'm not going to sit here and say it was good. But this match was good. I'm not going to say this match was not as good as their match at WrestleMania. This was a great match. It was a great main event TV match. But it was not as great as their WrestleMania match. So, the story they told in this match was Styles put Orton in the calf crusher, and Orton was struggling with the left leg the entire match. Styles kept attacking it, and then the show actually ended around 11:04. Alright, so it seems like WWE was able to get a couple extra minutes from the USA Network tonight, because I saw this at 10:59. I was like, they haven't ended the show yet. Oh, are they going to rush the finish? Because remember how garbage the finish was last week, when legit they had the rush the Rey Mysterio and AJ Styles US Championship match to end with like 30 seconds left on the show. They were legit playing the credits as the match was ending. It was that bad. So, but it looked like WWE was able to get a couple extra minutes out of the USA Network. So the match got to tell a little bit story, which I appreciate. You know, it was slow paced, but it was still an enjoyable match. I gotta say again, I love Samoa Joe on commentary. He's been great these last couple weeks. You know, when Samoa Joe actually retires, because I still think he has a couple more great years left in the ring. But when he retires, he definitely has a gig in commentary waiting for him. He definitely does. But this was great. At the end, basically, Orton tried to settle for the RKO. Styles reverses. Styles goes for a phenomenal forearm. But Orton's about to reverse into the RKO, but Styles sees it. He jumps off the rope. He goes for the phenomenal forearm again, but Orton hits him with the RKO out of nowhere the second time. The match ends 1, 2, 3. After the match, we see a brawl break out. The Viking Raiders and the OC come out, and the OC stands tall to end the show. Doesn't really matter to me. All this season, I already know what's going to happen next week. Next week, we're going to get Orton and the Viking Raiders in a 6-man tag against the OC. I'm not looking forward to that. It's garbage, but man, I don't know. I don't know, man. The main event match between Orton and Styles was great, but I'm not looking forward. Like, this is exactly what I was just complaining about with the Riot Squad and Seth Rollins and AOP. WWE has this terrible habit of doing 6-man tag team matches with factions over and over and over again. It's absolutely garbage. It's legit garbage, man. But Potapot, you said, as much as it hurts me to say, I missed Sasha at Champion. I do too, bro. Hopefully, at WrestleMania, we'll all get what we want, and we'll all celebrate when Sasha becomes the SmackDown Women's Champion. If that doesn't happen, I might cry on the pod, or I don't know what I'll do. But either way, that's about it, guys. That's about it for your Monday Night Raw review. I want to thank you guys for joining me here tonight. We went pretty long again, but I don't mind it. I love talking to you guys in the stream, and I thank you guys for joining me here every single Monday. All right, a couple of nuggets before you leave, before we get out of here. If you guys haven't checked out my WWE TLC review, that thing is live on the channel. It's doing great right now, so go check it out, share it out. That's where you're gonna get your most honest WWE TLC review. All right, so make sure to go check that out, guys. Also, SmackDown Live this Friday. You guys know I got you. NXT this Wednesday, I'll be doing an NXT review. I don't do them often, but since this is the last NXT show for the year, since we're getting Rhea Ripley versus Shayna Baszler NXT Women's Championship, and Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano, I'm very excited for this show, so I will be doing an NXT review. Alright, so make sure you guys come out for that. Also, a couple of other nuggets. I'm going to be doing some cool little videos. I'm going to be doing like a WWE gradebook series where I grade some stuff from WWE this year. So I'm going to be like grading the women's division, grading the tag teams, grading everything. So tell me guys what you guys want me to do for that. I'll be coming out with that sometime this week or next week. I'm going to be doing a podcast where I rank my top 10 WWE matches of the year. Alright, so make sure you guys have your lists of what your favorite matches of this year were. I'm talking about NXT and WWE, and let's discuss. I can't wait to do that pod. That will most likely be next week. One final thing. Monday Night Raw was pre-taped tonight. They had their Monday Night Raw show, and they're pre-taped for next week since WWE is giving the Raw Superstars Christmas off. So, this has nothing to do with SmackDown, but this has to do with Raw. So, they pre-taped Raw tonight. The show's probably done by now. So, most likely we'll have the Monday Night Raw spoilers out either tomorrow or Wednesday. So, I'll probably do a video either tomorrow or Wednesday once we have the full spoilers discussing that. So, I don't even know if I'll do a Raw review next week. I probably will, but it depends on how good the spoilers are. So, we'll talk about that. As always, guys, thank you guys for joining me here on the Legit Shoot podcast. Make sure to let your friends know where we always go live. We always do it big over here. Love you guys so much. If you guys want to follow me on social media, the links are in the description down below. I love chatting to you guys, especially on Twitter. But my links to Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, they're all down there. As always, guys, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you guys for all the support. Enable notifications by clicking the bell right next to my name, FitzMonk TV, so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. I'm going to get out of here, guys. I hope you guys have a great night. I'll see y'all later. Peace.